morning, Wes. Where are we going?
It's a wonderful day. It's new project day. So we are headed to Ingham, Idaho to pick up 3rd gen Cummins, and hopefully it's as nice to look in the picture, so we'll find out. So this is a 2004 and a half Ram 3500 with the 5.9 Cummins. So super excited to do a super high horsepower build, diesel build. Obviously I've done plenty of gas vehicles over the years, tinkered with diesels, but this is gonna be my first real high horsepower build, so I'm very excited. So when I picked this truck up, it was completely underrepresented by the seller. Very rare on Marketplace. I feel like I'm more used to these being a total crapshoot. So I bought it off of just a few pictures because it's a great deal. The previous owner didn't even actually note it as a diesel truck. I had to call him to find that information out. So I was told it has well over 200,000 miles. When I got the battery tender on it, found out it has 188,000. Got a pretty nice little wowie over here. I'm guessing that was an incident with a gooseneck. Love to say I've never done that, but I think we all have that drive trucks. So I highly recommend, guys, if you're ever gonna be putting a diesel truck up on a 2-post lift, these things are so heavy in the front. If you start shaking it at all, it will come off that lift. So always put a support in place. If I'm working on long-term, I actually do supports front and rear. These trucks are just so heavy. I'm lucky enough to have a 12,000 pound lift here to lift the truck, no problem. However, this is something I've seen. I've done a few diesel trucks in here, and that's always a risk that we take, so I always support them. All right, we got her up in the air, doing our initial inspection. About what you'd expect. Bone stock Ram 3500. Looks like nothing has been done aftermarket on this truck at all, other than there's one piece of hardware that appears to be missing that is normally on these 04 and a half trucks, and that is catalytic converter has been removed. I don't think that's gonna be too much of an issue for me. But overall, everything looks pretty damn good. So all those normal maintenance items you'd expect. You can tell that our ball joints are definitely probably needing replacement, as well as a lot of the steering components, super common on these trucks. Probably do all the bushings for the track bar, ball joints, and the steering components, stabilizer. And for me, rusty crap just isn't gonna do, so we're gonna clean it up anyways. The brakes are usable. They're about half-life right now. We probably will be replacing those just because I'd rather start with everything new. There are a couple pretty gnarly leaks that we're gonna have to handle. So if we look up here, you can see there's quite a bit of leakage on that steering box. I don't know if it's a steering box seal or the steering pump that's up there, but we definitely got a pretty major leak there, but that's not even the worst of it. We definitely got something gnarly going on back here. This is a new one for me. I'm not used to seeing quite a bit of oil on the, or rust on the oil pan, so that'll be something that we'll have to clean up. The U-joints and the axles all seem really good. Transfer case and trans, about what you would expect for a 188,000 mile vehicle. We got some pretty gnarly rust in this muffler here, but that will not be a problem for us because it's not gonna stay in here for very long. Then one major safety item, I don't like fuel leaks. Fuel leaks equal fire bad. So we got a fitting up there that's definitely gonna need to be replaced. And we'll clean that up as part of our phase 1, just get it running, but this whole component's gonna get changed out with an aftermarket lift pump anyways for phase 2. So we'll get rid of that leak, solve that problem. Got some pretty heavy duty leaf packs back here. Kind of rides like a tractor. We're gonna make some adjustments there in phase 2 as well, just to give it a little better look and a little better ride. I don't really need this load carrying capacity for what we're gonna be using the truck for. So if we're gonna do any towing, we'll have airbags in here to handle that extra load. So As you can see, truck's pretty clean. I cannot complain. Definitely been a work truck. Came off of a farm. Spent its life doing a lot of towing of horse trailers. But overall, halfway decent. And you can see this engine bay looks pretty dang complete. I don't know why the gentleman thought there was no turbo. There is clearly a turbo sitting down there. The smoke you're seeing, and that can pretty much only mean one of three things. Either we actually do have a bad engine, we got a cylinder problem, which I don't think we have. We got a hung injector, but it does not smell like a hung injector. Or we have a head gasket that's going. And let me tell you why I think that's the case. So, you look in here, mind you, I haven't done anything since we brought this truck home. This coolant tank is completely empty. There's absolutely nothing in there. Then we pop the cap on the radiator. Pop this bad boy. And she is bone dry. There's nothing in there. So that tells me that this thing's been eating coolant. And my guess is we can tear this sucker down. We're gonna find a scorched head gasket that we can easily repair, and we'll get this back on the road. So phase one, this project, is simply, let's get a running, driving truck, do all the normal maintenance that you'd do to get something back on the road that's been sitting for a year and a half. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, assessing a new project, pretty normal. We're gonna look over all the normal fluids. So I mentioned earlier that I think we have a head gasket problem. So I've already checked this coolant. It is down so far that I cannot see it, so I can't assess how good a shape it's in. But I'm guessing we are not getting a mixture of oil and coolant. That's because when I put it on this dipstick, we are, doesn't appear color-wise that we're mixing too badly, but it's definitely overfilled, which tells me coolant's getting down into the oil pan. So we run some risks there that we could have some problems with our oil cooler long term, but we'll take a look at it and see what's going on. So other things to check, this brake fluid has got to be flushed. I don't know when it was flushed last, but the color's telling me that it is overdue. You definitely don't want water or copper in your brake fluid. You want to make sure those are cleaned out. So overall, the truck looks like it's been pretty well maintained. Like I said, it's a farm truck. It's been used. We're gonna go through the whole thing top to bottom, try and make it better. All right, so got the head off. Head looks like it's in decent shape. Definitely has some miles, but we are in a bad way on cylinder one. So what we found when we were doing our teardown is the turbo has obviously let go. So when that turbo let go, we got some metal into the motor, and the cylinder one got the brunt of that metal. You can see the damage. So our options would be, see if we can bore out this engine. 40 over is about a max you can go on a 5.9. And I don't think that it'll clean up with 40 over. So we'll get you guys off the tripod there and show you the inside workings of this thing and kind of walk you through what's going on. All right, so what we're looking at here is all the cylinders have a little bit of scoring, nothing too serious. But you can see right here on cylinder 1, we got some debris that came in the motor and it just hammered on the top of this piston. And that's caused some serious scoring in the wall. So you can see some scoring right here in the cylinder wall. And that's enough scoring that you can't really repair it. So we can talk to the machinist, see if we can go out 40 over, but I highly doubt that that's gonna be repairable. So good news is, I have another motor that's a 6.7 motor. That's the one I wanted to build for this thing anyway. So I think we're gonna have to skip phase 1 and phase 2 and go straight to phase 3. Oh darn. All right, so all is not lost with our 5.9 block having some issues. So this is another motor we picked up at the same time. Our intent's always been to either do a 6.4 build, which would be the 5.9 crank inside of the 6.7 block, or to do a full 6.7. So we'll decide what we're gonna end up doing ultimately. But this was gonna be our phase 3 of the side piece project. So we'll end up building this motor fully, ground up. It'll have high-end connecting rods, pistons, full build to handle the 1,200 plus horsepower that we're gonna be trying to push out of this thing. So kind of make a mental list of the items there that need to be replaced and repaired. And then pull the head off the engine just to see the state of the engine. And it is definitely roached. So worst case scenario was we have a cylinder that's dead, and that's exactly what we ended up with. So cylinder number 1 has left the chat thanks to a turbo that failed and kicked some metal into cylinder number 1. So we knew that was a risk. That was our concern, but we have the parts and the know-how to fix that problem. So we'll get it taken care of.
Bend down a little bit. Come closer to the camera. You're a little dirty there, Wes.
Yeah, par for the course. It's kind of the way it works around here. So
don't watch your wiring when you're pulling the head off.
Definitely watch your wiring. You could break something and then have to figure out where it is.
Triple check.
That's one of the learning lessons. Don't use a torch next to the firewall insulation on these. They're not fireproof. Just saying. They are highly flammable, especially when they're soaked in oil.
So how do you know this?
I got the opportunity to test my fire extinguishers, which is great. You know, I wanted to know that they worked.
That's good.
And now I know. Now I know.